Okay, let us begin. This is the best indie games tier list maker. I just found one on tiermaker.com. This one was made by, let's see if I can attribute, Zafri Revo. This was made by Zafir Revo or Zafri Revo, and it looks like a good list. Looks like there's quite a few good games on here. I recognize a good chunk of them. The way I'm organizing it, we're gonna do a standard ranking SABCD, and then I've created 3 extra tiers because I've already gone through and done this work. Some of these games I've not ever played or even heard of. So if it's a game that I've never heard of, I put it on adding to my backlog. So I'm gonna play it because I love indie games and I'd love to give these a shot. If it's a game that's already on my backlog, I created a tier maker for that option of this is a game I'm going to play and already planned on playing. And then there's a third one that you guys will recognize soon, which is the NSFW, not on my Christian Minecraft server. They did recommend both Honey Pops. So I put those down on the, we're not talking about that one. But the rest of them, we're fine to talk about. So let's get into the list and see what we're working with here. Ka-chow. Nice. All right, so there we go. These are all of our games down here. These are the ones that I have not actually played. The ones I had heard of were Axiom Verge, Darkest Dungeons, Terraria, the new Shovel Knight, I think that is, Treasure Trove, which I was surprised that's the only Shovel Knight that I think I saw on here, which is a weird choice. Why would that be the only Shovel Knight? They're all indie games. One Step from Eden, Risk of Rain 2, Hyper Light Drifter. Those are all games that I would like to play. These games are either ones that I can't tell what they even are, like these 3. I have no idea what these games even are because their name is so small. Or this one. I can't tell what that one is either, or that one. Or that one, or that one. This one's Bloodstained, Crosscode. I can't tell what that one is. Dust something. Wizards of Legend, Transistor, Iconoclasts, Rivals of Aether, Bug Fables, and Fury. I've never played any of those or even heard of most of them, so they are not on the backlog yet, but I'm gonna add them to the backlog. Okay, these are the rest of them that we're gonna go through and see what we think about these on the list and where they belong on the SABCD ranking score. So I think, and honestly what I'm thinking about doing is going out, I don't know if, oh no, wait, Bastion's also on the backlog. Oopsie. What I'm thinking about doing is going one by one or just picking out the best ones, working my way down, because I already know my S's. I already know the best of the best on this list for me personally. We'll go in order. So Binding of Isaac is one that is infamous. It is one that is thorough. It is an excellent game. It's well built, well crafted. However, it's not one that the story strikes me quite as boldly. It's just not one that I really like. Like I don't own Binding of Isaac merch or stuff like that. I like, you know, the creator. I like the games that he makes. I think that it's an interesting story, and I like the indiness of it all, but as far as the game goes, it's not really my steez, not my type of game. So this is gonna be an interesting like layer, but we're gonna put it at an A rather than an S, rather than a B. I'm putting it at A because of its just iconic nature. I can't not put it there. Okay, Cadence of Hyrule. So this is Crypt of the Necrodancer, Cadence of Hyrule. I loved this game. This game was so good. However, it was not S tier. Another A tier. It was one that I would love to see put on S tier, but I think I can't do that with a good conscience because honestly, I've only played it once and I don't really want to go back for a playthrough. Celeste is an excellent game, but again, these are games that I just can't be giving everything an S because the truth is that I love all of these indie games, arguably, and I can't be giving them all an S, but Celeste is definitely exceptional. We're gonna give it an A. It's at least as good as Binding of Isaac, in my humble opinion. Crypt of the Necrodancer, that actually probably should go on my backlog because I've never played that one. I imagine I'm gonna enjoy it just as much. Cuphead, masterpiece of craft, very impressive. The gameplay is a little samey, the challenge is a little convoluted, and I think that it gets a little boring after a while. It's really fun for the first like 20 minutes to an hour, and then you're like, all right, like I've played enough Cuphead for now, so I'm gonna give Cuphead a solid B. I want to give it more because of the aesthetic and the work put into it, but I just think that morals considered, I don't enjoy Cuphead, so I can't give it higher than. I respect Cuphead, but I do not enjoy it. Dead Cells is kind of the same vein. I think that Dead Cells is one of those games. I love the aesthetic, I love the style, of the inspiration. It's a little bit more interesting than Cuphead, but not much. So I'm gonna put it right there at the Cuphead level. It gets boring after a while. Deltarune, I mean, come on guys, you know my takes. You know my takes. Do I really need to talk about Deltarune and Undertale? Deltarune and Undertale, some of my favorite games of all time. Toby Fox, my favorite game dev of all time. It's gonna be hard for me not to say that I love these games. Hades, S tier as well. It would be hard of you to deny the excellence of Hades. It does not get boring, even though it is a roguelike. It's one that just continues invigorating you and exciting you to the next possibility. All the levels feel so different. There's so much to discover that you're not just kind of doing the Dead Cells Cuphead thing of going through the same thing monotonously. Instead, you're discovering new things each time. It entices you. The weapons are fun. The characters are fun. The art is fun. Love it, love it, love it. S tier. Moonlighter was good, but I honestly didn't make it very far. I got it, I got into it, and I was like, okay, this is fun, but this is kind of like every other indie game out there. I can't give it the B tier. I've got to give it a C. River City Girls, if you like beat 'em ups, it's an excellent game, excellent story, really fun crafting, got a lot of inspiration from other games. Hard to knock it. However, I'm not a big fan of the beat 'em up genre in general, so I will find a tough time giving this too good of a score. I'm gonna give it probably about the same as Dead Cells and Cuphead. Rocket League is an icon as well, but this is a game that I'm not in love with. I don't think there's any story, so I have a tough time giving it too high of a score because I like narrative so much. So we're gonna probably honestly give it a C. I know that's probably gonna get me in trouble with the esports people, but you know, it's an esports game. I mean, does that really like quantify as being a best, you know? It's definitely the best esports indie game, but that's about it. The Shantae games, I've played somewhat, but I feel like they're all kind of the same. They're great platformers, they're fun, they're interesting, they're engaging, but like they're not that important to me. I'm gonna give probably all of them a C score. We'll do the full gamut of Shantae just there at the C. Stardew, come on, you guys. I'm a farming sim buff, and Stardew absolutely consumed my life and consumes my life every year for another 100 hours. So Stardew, yeah, absolutely. Super Meat Boy, another icon, but another one that I would argue gets boring pretty quickly. Not quite as quickly as Cuphead, so I'm honestly gonna put it above Dead Cells and Cuphead, but still in that B tier rank. Undertale, I mean, you guys, I can't not. I legally am required to do this. I'm actually gonna put Stardew above Deltarune there. And I would feel comfortable even doing this right here if we're gonna be doing these ranks in weird orders. Untitled Goose Game was fun for about 10 minutes. I love the memes, but the game is really just fine. We gotta be real with ourselves here, folks. It's really just okay. C tier. Valhalla, I loved this game. It reminds me a lot of Coffee Talk, and it kind of hurts my feelings that Coffee Talk isn't on. And so in honor of Coffee Talk and the fact that this one is the only one that's here, I'm gonna put it in A tier. Really good game if you like visual novels, as well as if you enjoyed Coffee Talk. It's a very similar vibe to that one. Deep story, cyberpunk, neo-noir, great stuff. Among Us. Among Us is a legend, right? I enjoy Among Us. I don't think I enjoy it as much as some people, nor do I hate it. I'm gonna give it a solid B tier. It's right there with Dead Cells, Cuphead, all that kind of stuff. I can play it for a while, but I'll get bored of it after a little bit. Hat in Time? Hat in Time was a really good concept, but the actual like playthrough of the thing, I'm not sure it did. It's kind of on the same level as Yooka-Laylee. They feel super inspired, but they just don't have the nostalgia factor of the banjos of the history that we grew up with. So I'm gonna give them probably all a C tier as well. And I can go ahead and grab Yuka and do that. Actually, I'm gonna add this. That's the sequel. I've not played Impossible Air, so I'm not gonna give that one a, because isn't it a platformer? I'm not gonna give that one a ranking because I think it's a platformer. Cave Story Plus was boring. I really wanted to get in this game. I still want to get into this game. Played a couple hours of it, and I mean, it's just boring. It was just boring. They just did not do the work that I needed to be done to engage me in the story itself. So I'm gonna give it like a C tier. Hate to say it. Fez, I've actually not played backlog. Hollow Knight, I'm loving Hollow Knight. However, I do get bored of it pretty quickly. I can't put it on B tier because I think it's too good for that. But I'm gonna put it on the bottom of it. Journey, I actually don't love Journey as much as most people do. I like Journey. I think it's a good game. I think that it may get a little overhyped sometimes. I think the music is the best part of it. The story itself is really just a good story, but honestly, it's one that we've heard so many times now and heard so much better and so many times. So I'm gonna give it a solid B tier. But I'll put it up at the top of the B tier. I think it's definitely better than Super Meat Boy, but I don't even know if it's as good as Hollow Knight. Katana Zero, if you've never played Katana Zero, you need to play Katana Zero. It's so good. It's got a Hotline Miami style, but it's platformer based, and it's really depressing, engaging, invigorating story. I couldn't stop playing this one, and I had to play through to the end. So I'm gonna give it a better ranking. I'm gonna give it probably better than Celeste. I'm gonna say top of A tier. It's not quite as good as Hades, but it's a really good game. Both the Ori games for me are good games. They're also important games, but I'm gonna give them probably the same tier, the B tier listing here. I think they do platforming just about better than any of these C tiers, but not so good that it gets beyond the point of being eventually boring. Skullgirls, I feel like I've played Skullgirls, but I actually don't remember what the gameplay of Skullgirls looks like. Yeah, it's a fighting game. I have trouble giving a fighting game a ranking. I'm gonna give it a C tier because I just don't play enough fighting games to even have a frame of reference. A Way Out is excellent. Good game. Nothing exceptional about it, just kind of a good game. I'm gonna give it a B tier. No, I'm gonna give it a C tier. Nothing exceptional. Castle Crashers is another really good game, not one that I ever really got into because I didn't have friends. C tier. Doki Doki. Folks, come on. Come on, it's anime. You can tell, look, this is Weeb Starter Pack here. This S tier is Weeb Starter Pack. Five Nights at Freddy's. I enjoy the games a lot. I hate to say it, but I really enjoy the narratives more than the actual gameplay. I'm gonna give them B tier purely for the narrative alone. If I liked the gameplay more, I would probably bump them up, but I don't. Hotline Miami hooked me. I couldn't stop playing. I'm gonna give it probably right below Celeste, above Binding of Isaac. Binding of Isaac on the bottom of this list. Indivisible, I thought was a lot of fun. I would love to go back and finish that one eventually. It felt super inspired, but I think I'd have to give it a C tier because I was able to drop it pretty easily. Mighty Number 9, we all know. Omori, guys, come on. We're keeping them coming. Here's another one shot. Let's go ahead and bump it on up. Move them all up the list. Overcooked is actually a really fun. I enjoy both the Overcooked series. I think Overcooked 1 was probably a little better. I'm gonna give it a B tier. Overcooked 2, I'm gonna give it a C tier. They added too many things and it actually made the game a little bit worse. So that's where we're gonna rank that one. Subnautica. Subnautica's interesting. It's almost too open world. It's almost too big of a game. It wanted too much. I feel like I'm gonna give it a C tier. It's too easy to put down. Super Hot was excellent storytelling, short storytelling. What they did was great. The mechanic that they did was excellent. Love everything about Super Hot. Gonna give it an A tier. Can't give it the S tier, but I can give it the A tier. VVVVVV is a good game. Excellent crafting and storytelling. Good stuff. Engaging, simplistic, does what it needs to do, doesn't overstay its welcome. I'm gonna give it a solid B tier here. Wargroove, I wanted to like more than I did. Considering how much I love Fire Emblem, I really wanted to enjoy Wargroove for the long haul of it. But to be honest, it very similar to what happened to me with Dead Cells and with Cuphead. I just got bored of it. So I'm gonna give it that B tier because I think that it wants to be really good. And I think that it could be really good if I would give it the time to actually go through with the game. So there we go. That is our indie game rankings. So you can see your S tiers here. We have Undertale, Stardew, Deltarune, Hades, Doki Doki, Omori, and One Shot. I feel very comfortable with that list. The A tiers are also very, very good games. Katana Zero, Cadence of Hyrule, Celeste, Hotline Miami, Valhalla, Hollow Knight, Binding of Isaac, and Super Hot. My B tier, these are my games that were kind of like, they were good, but they just eventually, I got bored of them or slacked off of them. And I think the fact that I was able to do that means that they're just not worthy of the A tier. And that is Journey, that isn't true of Journey. I actually did finish Journey, but I don't think it deserves the hype. Super Meat Boy, Dead Cells, Cuphead, River City Girls, Among Us, Ori, Five Nights, Overcooked, VVVVV, and Wargroove. The games that I thought were just kind of did what they did and were okay. Moonlighter, Rocket League, Shantae, Untitled Goose Game, Hat in Time, Yooka-Laylee, Cave Story Plus, Skullgirls, Way Out, Castle Crashers, Indivisible, Overcooked 2, and Subnautica. And the only bad indie game is Mighty Number 9. And I think that's pretty true. I think that's pretty true to form, honestly. I think the only bad indie game I know of is probably Mighty Number 9, and it makes me so sad. Although I've actually heard there is another love letter to Mega Man that is apparently doing pretty well called Berserk Boy. It's not officially released yet. It's just kind of on the chopping block. It's on some of the devs cycles, and some people are playing it in the niche community, but might be a game to look out for. So we'll plan on playing that whenever it eventually comes out. So we're gonna download this, and I will drop the link so that you can take this list as well and run with it and see how it goes. So there we go. Thanks so much for watching and being here, folks. If you are watching this on YouTube, I thank you. I appreciate you for being here and sticking through this tier maker. If you like tier makers like this, and odds are if you watched this far in the video, then you probably did. Do me a favor and go ahead and smash that like button, as they do say. Do hit that like button. Let me know that you enjoyed this video and that you want to see more of this kind of content. We would love to do that for you to make sure that these tier makers continue to show up on your list and that we know that these are something we need to put priority and interest into. If you want to leave me a comment down below, tell me what your S tier games would be. If you want to do the full tier, that's great. I would love to see your responses over in our Discord. But if you just want to drop your S tier down in the comments down below. I would be most interested to see what those are. With that, we're going to end this video as we always do with our 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there watching this, hearing this video, whatever it may be. Number 1, we believe that God loves you, really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here on YouTube and over on Twitch and on Discord. Number 3, we believe that you, yes, you, no matter who you are, where you've been, what your background looks like, believe in God, don't believe in God, go to church, don't go to church. We believe that you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, and until the next time that I see ya, bye-bye!